Hello, my name is Sam.
Hi sir, how are you?
Good, thanks. I will be talking to you about your network security for Millennial Media. So I've made a report about how we can do this. And I've also put some pictures and screenshots of how we can do it. So as you can see, it's a report done by me. And so we're going to look at the table of contents just briefly. So first of all, we need to current security threats and vulnerabilities. So we'll go through that. Implementations of perimeter security, firewall rule, server and network hardening, authentication and account controls, encryption, design and function and performance tests, and analysis of the test results and its recommendations. So first of all, we'll look at the current threats and vulnerabilities. So first of all, we have a asset category. It's a network, and threats and vulnerabilities. I'll just read this out to you. There are no security parameters in the system at all. This is under the network tab is NBN and wireless access. Easy access from the outside is because there is no mention of high security and risk entering the network. So you don't really have any parameter security for the server. You just have an NBN wireless connection. So that's pretty bad. Because you're a big company, you need to have parameter security. For the software, Windows is not up to date. Software is not up to date, such as Google Chrome from 2020. And it's not from this current year, 2023 that we're in. So we need to have a look at that. Hardware, there's no actual physical firewall that can block IP addresses, And then user access. Now, there's one server room where everyone's allowed to go that needs to change. It should be restricted to only admins and authorized people. And then there's a password. Passwords are too basic. There needs to be more regular password changes and more policies, such as adding symbols or character lengths or that kind of thing. We can't just have put 10 characters for a password and that's it, because that can be pretty useless. So implementing parameter security. So firewall settings. So the firewall settings are set to normal. So we need to change that evidence of implementation. So we just go to block Facebook, for example. We can add it to the firewall, which is 66.220.144.0. So you get this kind of warning when you go to Facebook if you add that to the firewall. So that's the result you would get. And then server and networking hardening. So how would we do this? So as you can see, we would have to put real-time security on to the server. This is done in Windows Security, the onboard Windows antivirus program. It detects viruses and malware. It's on all preloaded machines, including Windows Home editions. And then we should also make sure everything is up to date. Make sure the antivirus is up to date. And to look at the inbound ping rules to make sure everything is set correctly and nothing is getting out that shouldn't be going out. And then we would just put a new rule, as you can see here, new rules on the inbound pings to allow things not to go out of control. So why would we do this? Is just because if we have an up-to-date antivirus software, that the definitions will be up to date, meaning if there's a new, so say if your computer had not been updated for a year or so, if you update the antivirus, it would find all the new ways to fight a virus from that next year. And then adding new rules that would just stop certain sites being implemented. Then authentication of user controls. So this is basically when you're allowing and not allowing users to access data depending on the user. So for example, if you have data of finances in a folder, you can allow the finance group to look at it, but you can restrict the marketing team looking at it, for example, and you can see how it's implemented here. You basically go to Active Directory. You need to have Active Directory enabled to create the users first up and also set policies and procedures. Then encryption is pretty easy. BitLocker is already preloaded on Windows 10 and Pro up. So if I wouldn't say do not get Windows Home, because encryption is not preloaded on the computer. And so, yeah. As you can see, if you put encryption on, you can put it onto USB, to external drives, so you can have a password, and also onto the machine itself. So there's something called VeriCrypt that you can install it onto the volume of your actual machine, and then whenever you power the machine on, it will require your password and PIN, as you can see. And why is this helpful? It's just to make sure that with proper authorization you can get in, and without proper authorization you can't get in. Just to keep things safe. And then design and conduct function and performance tests. So there's a thing called OpenDNS, which you can enable to your network. You can do this by going onto OpenDNS, going into Family Shield or whatever plane you want to put on. It'll give you a code, a DNS code 255 or something like that. You put it into the DNS settings of your server. But make sure, if you're on Telstra, make sure you have a router Gen 3, because that allows you to change the DNS settings. If you have an old router, you probably need to update it.
That's good to know.
And then as you can see, you can update it here. Router setting configurations, you can just, as I said, you can add the DNS server address to the router to block malicious websites or anything like that. And then conducting and tracking. So as you can see, we can go onto the OpenDNS website and see how many DNS requests were there. And depending on our configuration, as I said, I didn't mention that before, but we have web filtering. So we can block certain websites such as social media or weapons or whatever you want to do. And then it'll show you the blocked websites. Yep. Why is this good? You can stop your workforce getting distracted on Facebook while you're not supposed to. You can stop proxy websites being accessed, and that kind of whole shebang. And then we did a Microsoft assessment planner. So we went to that, and then we did an assessment plan. So it will show us. We did an inventory plan to see if it was eligible for virtualization. And we had to look at the DirectX settings. So this would show our display, our graphics card, that kind of thing, our drives. Now this is basically displaying all the information about the computer if it's safe to use on a technical level. And as we did before, the Microsoft mapping tool, we can open the results into an Excel spreadsheet. So that's what we did here. Network traffic report, performance report. This is basically a new design, a code that you can put on a computer to test what devices are connected to that network, and sometimes you can see latency. As you can see here, some devices have latency of 0.01 seconds or something like that. And the system security audits, you can see different audits. So I've just gone through and changed the code to 6425, which is to see unsuccessful login. So when someone puts the wrong credentials into the server, it will register that code as 6425. Then,
complex, but quite intuitive.
thank you. And then we downloaded Total AV, which is an antivirus website, an antivirus tool, and it detects the virus here, as you can see, gets it out, and in the malware here, So anti-malware, which was malware bytes. When we did our first scan, we saw already some stuff that was going to come out, so we just deleted it already. And then backup of protect environmental threats. So this is basically just backing up all information and then recovering. Yeah, and so we create timestamps as well. So we would use server recovery software to make a standpoint and then bring it back if something gets lost. Same with the computer. We put some software and put it back, and we have some stuff. And then these are the threats. Yeah.
It was very nice, quite detailed. Can
Yeah.
you mention about the problems a bit more in detail?
Yeah, so I discovered some threats on the computer. Phishing was a problem. So what is phishing? It's basically when you have a connection between two devices and someone comes in the middle and fishes out data. And so why is this important? It's important because, you know, someone might be transmitting important information. And imagine if someone was, an accountant was trying to retrieve accounting data with stats and bank account details of everyone, and someone in the middle just got the data and just took it. This could be, you know, they could probably sell it to the highest bidder, or they could leak it, or they could, not even just financials, they could leak projects as well. So how do we, you know, you can lose a lot of money if something gets out before it's, you know, too late. How do we try and fix this problem? Well, we could have a VPN. VPN is a virtual private network. So the connection between the server and the computer will be private, so no one can get in. And it's encrypted as well. So that, you know, you can't, to the scammer or whatever, it looks like random numbers, and you can't get in. It's very hard to get in to the private network because it's unique to both of those endpoints. And ransomware. What is ransomware? Ransomware is basically a malware that you know, it goes into the system and it can collect all the data, and then a pop-up comes on the window and it says you have 24 hours to pay this amount of money. If you don't pay it, we'll either sell the information to the highest bidder, we'll leak the information, or we'll come after someone. And there are sometimes, if the company even pays the price, criminals will still do nefarious actions with the data. So how do we keep it secure? Well, for a server of this size, for a whole network of this size, I think we should use Microsoft Endpoint Defender. So what they say is it's a cloud-based antivirus, anti-malware solution. It uses AI to see, you know, what type of threats there are. Because ransomware can come in an email, you just have to open it and it'll come in the background. So it uses AI to train itself to find, you know, what's happening. It uses early detection, so if something even a little bit gets in, you know, the IT team can know about it and stop it from getting worse. So these are the type of things that we can do. So that's the whole presentation.
Interesting, actually. I want to know, this was quite interesting, ransomware and so, but just let me, and phishing one.
Yeah.
Send me a bit more detail how to prevent it. Good?
Yeah, I can do that.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Sir?
Yeah?